Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning as we celebrate the graduation of this Detention Officer Basic Class 23C 105. My name is Chuck Bain, and it is my honor to serve both as the Director of the Academy and the MC for today's ceremony. Just as an advisement, we are recording today's ceremony and we'll be posting that recording on social media for viewing by those who were not able to attend in person. Now that number, 23C 105, does have some meaning, at least for us. 23 is the year. C indicates it's the third Detention Officer Basic of 2023, and 105 denotes that this is the 105th graduating Detention Basic from our Academy. Our ceremony is steeped in history and tradition. Veteran detention officers who began their careers in Wyoming and who have graduated from our Academy have shared the same sense of accomplishment and perhaps even the relief felt by today's graduates. Detention Officer Basic Training graduation marks a time of transition for these officers as they begin their careers in the field of detention. This transition takes them from individual contributors to now public servants who have to focus on others. This transition process is not easy, and as such, these graduates have every right to be proud of their hard work and accomplishments necessary to complete this basic course. This ceremony, however, is not just about the graduates. It is also an expression of thanks to their families and administrators who have supported them during their absence. We welcome audience participation in today's ceremonies with yells and cheers as we celebrate the success of these students. It is more than appropriate to share in the overwhelming pride, honor, and joy that will be felt in this room today. Now, would you please stand and welcome Detention Officer Basic Class 23C 105. Class, please come forward. Audience, would you please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance and our invocation? The class has selected their classmates who are military veterans to lead us in the pledge. Veterans?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are pleased to have Tim Ricker, a member and past president of the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, with us to deliver today's invocation. Chaplain.
Please bow in prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank Thee for this opportunity to come to Thee on the behalf of these graduates. I pray that I never take this privilege for granted and approach it with lack of devotion. I pray for these graduates as they leave the hallowed halls of this academy and go back into their homes and lives of their communities. I pray first of all for safety for them and their loved ones. Then I ask that You reward them richly for being willing to serve their fellow man. I also pray that they serve from a heart of love for others and not just from a sense of duty for monetary gain. I pray that they would seek Your guidance and wisdom each day in their home lives and in their job. May You bless them with long, effectual, and fulfilled lives. Thank Thee also for this Institute of Law Enforcement Training, and pray that You continue to watch over each person who labors here in whatever capacity they serve in. I pray that You bless each of them, give them fulfillment in their lives, knowing that they serve a very high calling for all of us. I pray all of this in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, please allow me a moment to introduce a few of the people sitting before you today. Just immediately to my right, I will introduce this gentleman in just a moment. Next to him is Tim Ricker, who you've already met. Then you have Trish Carson, Wyoming Peace Officer Standards and Training Coordinator. And finally, Jesse Curtis, Deputy Director of the Academy. No organization can or would be successful without support from behind the scenes, and our Academy is no exception. Staff members are what make this basic training possible and highly effective. As I speak right now, 3 of our most vital service sections remain at work elsewhere in the facility. It is their collective efforts that contribute and ensure the quality of today's ceremonies. These sections include our food service, our custodial, and our maintenance staff. Even though they are not in attendance, please offer them a round of applause for their dedication. Our office section is known for its dedication and its efficiency. Without them, we certainly could not accomplish our mission. Our office section is rather thin today with some absences. The one lone person is standing back in the back, but she is here, as well as our media specialist. Would you please offer a round of applause for their work? The last section that is here today and part of the ceremony is our instructional staff. Whatever you may have heard about this group, I do know that their pride, their enthusiasm, and their dedication to the students that they train is second to none. They not only instruct a wide variety of subjects, they also serve as team leaders, coaches, and coordinators. Instructional staff present today, would you please stand and be recognized? At this point in the ceremony, I would like to ask county sheriffs who are attending the ceremony today to please stand and be recognized. I ask them to do that because I know it's not an easy feat for them to clear busy schedules and personally attend their deputies' graduation. Sheriffs, thank you for the support of your students and your continued support of our academy. Finally, I would like to give recognition to the department's command staff, middle managers, first-line supervisors, and law enforcement co-workers that are in our audience today. Everyone representing a law enforcement agency, please stand. Thank you very much for joining us. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker for today's ceremony. He grew up in Goshen County, Wyoming. After graduating from the University of Wyoming, he spent 4 years in the United States Air Force. While in the Air Force, he completed a master's degree in public administration from the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. Then after graduation from law school, he opened his own general law practice in Torrington, where he practiced for 20 years. During this time, he had served in the House of Representatives from 2007 to 2012, the last 2 years of which he was Speaker of the House. In March 2018, he was appointed to be Wyoming's 22nd Secretary of State by then Governor Matt Mead, and he was reelected to that position in 2018. Then on July 20th, 2022, Governor Mark Gordon appointed him to his current position as the District Judge of the 8th Judicial District. He and his wife Amber are the proud parents of 4 children. It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Ed Buchanan.
Good morning. Looks like it's standing room only. Well, indeed, it's a pleasure for me to be here today What an honor and privilege it was to receive the invitation to attend your graduation. And I want to start off by offering my sincerest congratulations and a thank you for your accomplishments, your hard work, and your dedication here at the Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy. And when they asked me to come speak, I naturally thought, well, what's a pertinent topic for me to speak about? And one of the things that's bothered me quite a bit over the past few years is a lot of the political rhetoric we hear surrounding the topic of trust in government, trust in the courts, and quite frankly, trust in law enforcement. For you in particular, much discussion has been about decreasing funding for law enforcement. Now, fortunately for us here in Wyoming, that's a conversation that is largely relegated to other parts of the country, bigger cities, and we don't have that issue in Wyoming. But I think it's an important topic because the discussion is not limited to just law enforcement. It is also directed towards our courts, judges, and many of our governmental institutions. And it's also important because citizens of the state of Wyoming must have confidence that their government is just and that it operates with integrity, because without that confidence, our system of government as we know it will fail. So today I want to talk to you about how important your role as a peace officer is to the public, and not so much in regard to the job you're going to do day in and day out. We all know your jobs are integral to the safety of our communities. And that's not just for detention officers, obviously that's for everyone else in law enforcement in attendance today. And I thank you for your service to your communities. But rather, I want to talk to you about the importance of your role as individual peace officers and the role you play in instilling and maintaining our system of government, more specifically, our constitutional republic. And I know this class is largely comprised of detention personnel, but many of you will assuredly move on to other duties as you continue your careers in law enforcement, very likely interacting on the streets and highways of Wyoming with our Wyoming citizens. We have freedom in this country because we have a constitution, and many soldiers have died over the past 245 years to protect our rights. And of course, we are eternally grateful for the service of our veterans and those that gave the ultimate sacrifice in protecting those freedoms. But today, I want each of you to realize the role and duty you have to protect those same freedoms as a member of the law enforcement community. What is a peace officer? What is your job? First, you are an officer of the law, and your job is to preserve the public peace, of course. That's an important responsibility. We all know that. That's a pretty big, broad job description. So how do you do that? How do you preserve the public peace? I would suggest you do it by enforcement of the law, of course, and by upholding the law. And enforcement is easy enough for all of us to understand, but I would suggest to you that it is not the same thing as upholding the law. Upholding the law goes far beyond enforcement. Each of you will soon hold positions of public trust, and that was mentioned in the introduction. You are no longer individual citizens. Now you will occupy positions as public servants. Upholding the law requires diligence in our personal lives and in our professional lives. And there's a scripture that says, "To whom much is given, much will be required, and to whom have committed much of you, they will ask more." The second part of that, tailored to each of you as peace officers, would accurately state, "And from the one trusted with much, much more will be expected." And I tried to succinctly state that a little more closely, and I couldn't really come up with something just for law enforcement, but I will tell you, on the Niobrara County Courthouse, in big, bold letters, capital letters, it says, "A public office is a public trust." And as peace officers, each of you has been chosen for a high calling, a job that a civilized society requires, an occupation which at its core protects the public's safety and protects the public's rights as free citizens of the United States of America and of the great state of Wyoming. Yes, you are officers of the law. I am an officer of the court. I am tasked each day to enforce and uphold the law, and each of you will face that same task. The good news is that to accomplish this task, we only need to be faithful to the law, both the Wyoming statutes and the federal and Wyoming constitutions. In my career as an attorney, long before I became a district court judge, long before I was ever involved in politics, I practiced both civil and criminal law. And in criminal law, early on I worked as a public defender, straight out of law school. Later on, after that, I worked extensively as a prosecutor. And a lot of people might look at those two roles and those two positions and see those as being mutually exclusive when it comes to the enforcement of the law and the upholding of the law. After all, they are on opposite sides of a case, one trying to defend their client against the charge and the other trying to convict for the charge. So there is some truth to the notion. However, an even greater truth is that both roles are protecting the public's safety and the public's rights. You might ask me, how is that so? And I'm going to give you a few examples. When I was a public defender, I often got the question from family and friends, a brand new attorney, say, how can you defend this individual when you know they're guilty? And I would say, well, firstly, I don't ever ask them if they're guilty or not, because that would compromise my ability to do the job. Whether or not they're guilty is not the question. I would tell them the reason I could do that job is because I believe in the Constitution. And I never saw my job so much as necessarily defending the individual defendant. I saw my job as requiring the state to meet their burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And if I could hold them to the standards that are dictated by our Wyoming Constitution and our federal Constitution and the rules of evidence, it didn't matter to me as much. It mattered to the client, but it didn't matter to me as much as whether or not they were convicted or not. It mattered to me that the system maintained its integrity, and I knew the result, whether an acquittal or a conviction, was a just result because I knew the process was just. Later on, as a prosecutor, and I have prosecuted countless cases, from homicides, sexual assaults, the worst of the worst, and child abuse. And I will tell you that I'm an officer of the court. I was in that position, and again, you are officers of the court. But I still maintained a focus on the Constitution as a prosecutor. And I had one particular case, and only one, thankfully, where I was prosecuting basically a stolen gun ring, and there was one individual at the top of that was the worst one in the chain, and I wanted to get this guy, and I had some of his co-defendants want to turn state's evidence on him. And as I prepared for the jury trial, I noticed that these two co-defendants, I would ask them a question, and in earlier meetings, they wouldn't know the answers to those questions. In later meetings, when I would continue the preparation, they would come up with the answers. And I began to notice they were telling me what I wanted to hear. And as that went on, I realized that they were being untruthful with me. Even as a prosecutor, as an officer of the court, as a member of law enforcement, we all have a duty of candor, of honesty, and integrity. And in that case, I knew I would live to fight another day, but I had to go to the judge and say, Judge, I have to dismiss this case because I no longer have a case. The two witnesses I need to convict this man are being untruthful with me. And as an officer of the court, I cannot place somebody on the witness stand knowing that they are going to fabricate a story. And if I did, what is the end result to our system of justice? It's a perversion of justice is what it is. And so you win some of those things, you lose some of those things, but the point is you never lose sight of maintaining the integrity of the system we serve. You see, in both roles, I sought to follow the law. And what I want you to remember today is be faithful to the law. In both examples I gave you, I was protecting the integrity of our judicial system by being faithful to the law. I was protecting the public's rights and protecting an individual's rights by being faithful to the law. And in the countless convictions I have obtained on behalf of the state of Wyoming, I have protected the public's safety and did so while being faithful to the law and protecting the public's rights because I was faithful to the law, abiding by the Constitution, and doing my job the right way. That's the demand that public trust places upon each of us and places on each of you. And my job as a judge today is no different. Your job as peace officers is no different. We have to constantly strive to ensure our judicial system maintains its high standard for integrity. Because without that, without citizens' respect for the law, without citizens' respect for law enforcement, trusting in their government, trusting in their judicial processes, they soon lose respect for the law. They soon lose respect for our authority. And without that authority and without respect for law, this country has nothing left. So I leave you with this. You are essential to a civilized society. The public in Wyoming trusts the law enforcement community. They trust because your law enforcement brothers and sisters that have gone before you and who serve today have earned that trust. And I'm speaking to all of you that have paved the way for these new graduates. They have earned that trust by consistently meeting the higher standards that are expected of your profession. Be faithful to the law. Never forget that your position is one of public trust. Never forget that because you will be sworn to protect the public's safety and the public's rights, much more is expected of you. But if you are faithful to the law, you will be successful in upholding the law, and you will meet your duty of trust. In closing, the state of Wyoming is more than grateful for your service and your commitment to protect our communities. And I speak that to all of you in attendance and all the, what I would call the active law enforcement folks out there. The state of Wyoming truly loves its law enforcement community. And thank you so much for the work you do in protecting our communities. And to the graduates or soon-to-be graduates, I want to congratulate you on your new endeavor. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of your celebration today. So best of luck to you and congratulations. Thank you.
Your Honor, thank you for your remarks and being with us here today. As usual, there are individuals within a class who go above and beyond of what is asked for them. At this time, we want to give recognition to those officers who have achieved distinction in this basic course. Instructor Robert Lang, would you please come forward to present the Physical Fitness Award?
Thank you, Director. During the basic training, the students participate in 26 hours of physical fitness. This includes aerobic, anaerobic, core and strength training, nutrition, and the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. These students are tested physically from the moment they arrive, day one starting at 7 o'clock, until their final PT assessment 2 days ago. Each assessment includes their maximum number of push-ups and sit-ups in 1 minute, as well as their time for a 1.5-mile run. The top PT award goes to the student who has the highest cumulative percentile score during the final PT assessment based on age and gender. The Physical Fitness Award winner completed the following: 39 sit-ups in 60 seconds, 43 push-ups in 60 seconds, and a 1.5-mile run in 13 minutes and 42 seconds. The Physical Fitness Award for Detention Officer Basic 23C 105 goes to Deputy Bradley Holmes from Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Rippey, would you please come forward to give recognition to those who excelled in firearms?
Thank you, Mr. Lang. To prepare for final proficiency scores, Detention Officer Basic students shoot approximately 1,000 handgun rounds at distances of 3 to 15 yards. In order for a student to achieve certification, they must shoot a minimum proficiency score of 80% with their handgun. The WLEA Top Gun Award is given in recognition of an individual's outstanding performance and dedication to firearms excellence. The top shooter in this class shot 98% with their handgun. The WLEA Top Gun Award for Detention Officer Basic 23C 105 goes to Deputy Jordan Wally from the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Miller, would you please come forward to give recognition to those who excelled in academics?
Thank you, Mr. Rippey. The students are tested continuously as they progress their basic training. They must meet established minimum requirements in order to receive their certificate of successful completion. Specifically, they must pass 6 examinations worth a total of 808 points. The top academic award goes to that student who achieved the highest academic cumulative average throughout the Detention Officer Basic. The top academic student in this class had an average of 87.87% over the course of basic training. Out of 808 total points available, this officer scored 710. The academic award for Detention Officer Basic 23C 105 goes to Deputy Zachary Gilmore of Uinta County Sheriff's Office. Each class elects a spokesman to represent their class at graduation to share their collective thoughts and experiences from training. Classes may also choose to complete a class project. At this time, I'd like to invite up class speaker Deputy Megan Pode of the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office and class project coordinator Deputy Crystal Corson from Natrona County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, family, friends, and colleagues. I'm Yvonne Fairbanks. I'm the co-conspirator for the class project. The class of DOB 23C 105 heard about having to do a class project, and we decided that donating training sticks for our instructors, Mr. Wong and Mr. Rippey, for custody and control would not only help them out, but also would help future students who will come into these halls and learn all the amazing tactics and techniques you have taught all of us. We appreciate you and all you have done for each of us. We hope this helps you out in the future classes to come. We also made a class banner so that we can live on in these halls for a very long time. Why? Because the gods hate this class, as our class speaker, Megan P.O.S.T, is going to explain further.
Can you guys see me now? Okay. All right, good morning. As introduced, I am Megan P.O.S.T with the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. I am honored to be up here on behalf of the DOB 23C 105 class. I would like to start out with a speech with one of my favorite quotes from our time here. The gods hate this class. This was shown throughout our whole time here at the Academy. For example, the pouring rain and lightning when we were out on the gun range. It seemed every time we were scheduled to be on the range, it would be a sunny, hot day, until about 30 minutes into being outside. Then the lightning and rain would be so heavy that we had to make a run for the indoor range. By the time we made it to the indoor range, we were soaked and dripping with water. The gods hate this class. But everyone still had smiles and a good attitude, despite looking like we jumped in a swimming pool. Another example was everyone's favorite day, the day we received our OC training. On this day, everyone was hoping for it to be overcast and windy. We wanted this. It could help cool the burn we were going to be feeling from the OC, since it had been raining all week and we had high hopes that it might be cool and breezy. Since we live in Wyoming, where it is literally always windy, we hoped a little wind would be there. This was not the case. Instead, it was a sunny, hot day with hardly any breeze at all and not a cloud in the sky. Yeah, the gods hate this class. But we learned that day to push through the pain and reach a new level where we became stronger. Other examples include things like all the injuries we received and the failures we endured. This reminds me of the first day of custody control when I walked in and it smelled like Tiger Balm and Icy Hot. This is because a large amount of our class has a case of the OLD. Fun fact, for everyone here, our class has ages ranging from 19 years old to 59 years old. We were all tested physically, mentally, and emotionally in our own ways, but despite all these things, we pushed through, and every single person in this class showed me their dedication, integrity, and desire to become the best that we can be. They all showed me that we want this. All of this was only possible because of the support we got. We all come from different backgrounds and have different sources of support. The first source of support I want to talk about is the support we got from each other. We all truly worked as a team and cheered each other on. I saw this the first day I arrived here when we all had to do our physical test to enter the academy. That day was full of cheers and encouragement to not stop and keep going. We pushed each other even when our bodies wanted to stop. That first day, we didn't even know each other, but those cheers and encouragements were still there. That day showed me that this class has spirit and they have a desire to help each other succeed. It didn't stop there, though. It continued the whole time we were here. It showed during our study group nights in the day room, quizzing each other and attempting to throw candy for the correct answers. Sorry, Yvonne, I hope your head is okay. It showed through the things like coffee runs and snack sharing to get us through those study nights. It showed through the encouragement everyone gave after a fail. It showed on the range when we were soaked from the rain and we were tired. It showed in helping others overcome struggles and learn to improve our weak points. We all supported each other from day one, and it showed me what a real team looks like. I also need to talk about the support we got from all of our instructors and staff. Our instructors always seem to know the right things to say in the moment we need to hear it, even if it's something as simple as, "Stop it," or "Get out of your head." It's been clear to me from day one that the instructors want us to succeed. They have the desire to teach and help us become the best officers we can be. Even when Mr. Rippey convinced us he owned an eagle named Sarah. Yeah, I believed him for 2 weeks. I have been shown encouragement by everyone here and been given opportunities to help me improve. Thank you for teaching me and allowing me to fail at some things so that I could learn and do better. Thank you for showing us how to correct mistakes and be the better versions of ourselves. Instructors were not the only ones here that showed support. I saw the kitchen staff show us support and friendly smiles every day and at every meal. I saw the cleaning staff always saying good morning with warm smiles. So a big thank you to all the staff and instructors. We could not have made it here without you. There's one more group of people I need to acknowledge for giving us support, and that is everyone here today, our family and friends. We could not have made it this far without you guys. All the love, patience, and support you gave made it possible for us to make it this far. Thank you for making those sacrifices for us to be here. There isn't enough thanks we can give. The next thing I want to talk about is adversity. As I was doing research and deciding which stories I want to share, a few specific things kept popping up. And one of them is about my favorite topic. It's food. Ask Gary, he knows. Okay, it really is a story about adversity, but it does contain food as well. This story is about a man named Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC. Colonel Sanders was born in 1890, and he faced many challenges growing up, including having to help with family duties starting at a young age. I won't go through all the struggles of his early life, but I will tell you he had many different careers and struggles that came along with those careers. He had to adjust his plan many times to overcome the struggles that faced him. He didn't even open a restaurant until 1937, when Colonel's Cafe was built. Only 2 years later, it burnt down, and he was left with nothing. He traveled across the United States trying to sell his secret fried chicken recipe to different restaurants. He was turned down a total of 1,009 times. He still didn't give up, though. It wasn't until about 1960 that he gained his support he needed, and he moved to Kentucky to open the first KFC. This is when the business really took off and became the famous fried chicken restaurant that we all know and love today. There's a lot more that goes along with this story, but there are two main points I want to explain. The first point is that Colonel Sanders didn't succeed in his goal until the age of 65. So yes, this class may have a few cases of the OLD, but sometimes the best success stories don't happen until later in life. Speaking of OLD, I came up with a meaning that I believe is better suited for this class. O, we are overcoming. This class showed me we can overcome anything if we put our minds to it. L, we are long enduring. We can endure anything and fight through all of the things. D, we are determined. Everyone here has showed me how much they want this and how much they are willing to do to get it. So yeah, with that definition, our class is definitely OLD. The next point I wanted to take away from this story is that every time Colonel Sanders was faced with adversity, he pushed through it and eventually accomplished his goal. He never gave in, and he never let it beat him. So yeah, the gods hate this class, but not like you think. The gods hate this class because we overcame every adversity they threw at us. We never gave up, and we showed how much we want this. The gods hate this class because we are long enduring. We don't quit, and we want to become better. We took the adversity given to us, and we made it our advantage. We learned to push through the moments when we wanted to stop. The gods hate this class because we are determined. We smile through the hard times and keep each other going. I know each and every one of us in this class will continue to push through any struggles we may face. The gods may continue to hate this class, but that's okay because we can handle it. I know we will not quit. Class DOB 23C 105, this is the beginning of our career and our success. Keep smiling and working as a team. Keep growing and learning. Keep pushing through those moments of adversity because, as we all know, the gods hate this class.
I want to share something with you just a little bit that every class speaker I meet with sometime during the time you're here, and we just talk in generalities about what are good speeches, what are not good speeches, how those things, and I have a little bit of an idea of what they're going to talk about. It was Megan who asked me during that visit that we had earlier this week if she could have a box to stand on. Wasn't anything we started. And I just want you to see this sucker. I said, yeah, let me see what we can dig up. I asked my maintenance crew, could you find something, scrounge something up for us? They might be OLD, but they took care of this young lady pretty well, don't you think? That thing is going to be around forever. It's heavier than whatever, had to stain it or whatever. So, young lady, before you get out of here, I want you to see Kendall, get a magic marker, and I want you to sign that sucker as the first dedicator, okay? Put that in your pocket and you're not going to worry about being blown away. So, class, thank you for your class project. We appreciate your donations and all the other things that were brought around to everybody yesterday. It shows the true character of this group of people. Deputy Poe, thank you for your remarks on behalf of your class. Job well done. And now to our final award. In every class, there is a student who is willing to distinguish themselves by their exemplary work and their efforts. They strive to become the best of the best within this class and their chosen profession. As a form of recognition for the one student who continually performed to their best of their abilities, the Academy has established the Honor Graduate Award. Mr. Curtis and Mr. Wong, would you please come forward to give recognition to those students nominated and present the Honor Graduate Award.
Thank you, Director Bain. The Honor Graduate Award is the highest honor the Academy presents to a student graduating from the Wyoming Law Enforcement, from a Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy Basic Course. In order to be eligible to receive this award, a student must be nominated by a member of the instructional staff. It is not a popularity contest, and it is an honor just to be nominated. Once the officer is nominated, a very comprehensive and objective point system is used to assess the nominee's performance while attending Basic. The specific areas evaluated are the student's academic scores, proficiency in firearms, custody control, and physical fitness. In addition, students are assessed in the following 6 areas of professional citizenship: leadership, effort, cooperation, initiative, attitude, and improvement. In alphabetical order, will the following officers please come forward to receive your Merit Award in recognition of your nomination. From the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Colton Hallisey. And from the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Connor Robertson. The Honor Graduate Award recognizes the one student in each basic class who exemplifies all the attributes of a professional detention officer and who performed exceptionally in all phases of training. In addition to receiving a plaque, and with the intent to encourage the recipient beyond today's recognition, the Honor Graduate will receive a $500 scholarship for any advanced training offered here at WLEA. It is a long-standing tradition that the audience stand while the Honor Graduate Award is presented. Would you please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, the Honor Graduate Award for Detention Officer Basic 23C 105 goes to Colton Hallisey from the Carbon County Sheriff's Office. Thank you. Please be seated. The staff here at WLA congratulate you, Detention Officer Basic 23C 105, for completing your basic training. We started this journey just a few short weeks ago, and today we have arrived. On behalf of the class and Academy staff, we would like to thank the many Wyoming law enforcement agencies and associations across the state who partner with us to provide the best possible training so that these new officers have what they need to do their jobs competently, reasonably, and safely. The Wyoming Association of Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police, the Wyoming Peace Officers Association, the Wyoming Law Enforcement Chaplains Association, and the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission are a few of the many who regularly devote expertise, financial assistance, and manpower to assist us in accomplishing our mission, and we thank you. The Academy would also like to recognize the families of these men and women who themselves willingly sacrifice in many unseen ways so that their loved one can protect their community. These officers cannot do what they do without you. We know that you have taken care of things these last several weeks so your loved one could be here and study their craft. The Academy thanks you for your sacrifice, and we appreciate you. Detention Officer Basic 23C 105, you have spent the last several weeks constantly engaged in activities that forced you to learn, apply, and integrate the basic concepts, principles, and tactics of a law enforcement detention professional to achieve outcomes. At the same time, we've immersed you in a culture that demands initiative, resolve, accountability, and integrity, which is the same environment you're now returning to work in. You are here today because you have demonstrated a basic level of functionality in the 5 core competencies that we measure, which in and of itself is an accomplishment to be celebrated. Our challenge to you now is to continue learning, continue practicing, and continue to strive to become a masterful detention officer. This is the expectation that your agency and community have of you. Director Bain, I recommend the awarding of certificates of the successful completion for the Wyoming P.O.S.T approved 298-hour Detention Officer Basic Course 23C 105. Ladies and gentlemen, as we we're almost there. Not yet. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to do this, please feel free to come down, take pictures. We got all day.
Let's see if I can stay in the right order this time, huh?
From the Park County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Gary Aldolis. We are fortunate to have several special presenters with us today. These people are the family members of a graduate who themselves are currently serving or have served in law enforcement. Our first special presenter has served for 3 years with the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. Here to present his brother's certificate, please help me welcome Deputy Dakota Carlson. And also from the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Colton Carlson. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Crystal Corson. Our next special presenter served for 32 years with the Duluth, Minnesota Police Department. Here to present his daughter's certificate, please help me welcome retired officer T.J. Davis. And from the Sheridan County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Mackenzie Davis. From the Teton County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Kevin Espinoza. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Yvonne Fairbanks. Also from the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Kobe Faulkner. From the Uena County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Zachary Gilmore. From the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, Deputy James Greenwood. From the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Colton Hallisey. From the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Bradley Holmes. Our next special presenter has served for 5 years with the Pennington County Sheriff's, South Dakota Sheriff's Office and Casper Police Department. Here to present his brother's certificate, please help me welcome Detective Leonard Jacobs. And that was Deputy Justin Jacobs from the Hot Springs County Sheriff's Office. From the Albany County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Emma McGee. Our next special presenter has served for 16 years with the Converse County Sheriff's Office. Here to present his daughter's certificate, please help me welcome Deputy Ira Kennenberg. And also from the Converse County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Jaden Miller Kennenberg. Our next special presenter has served for 3 years with the Wyoming Highway Patrol. Here to present his brother's certificate, please help me welcome Trooper Logan Kelly. And from the Carbon County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Kyle Monson. From the Albany County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Sina Piercy. Our final special presenter has served for almost 2 decades with the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. Here to present his daughter's certificate, please help me welcome Sergeant Stephen Powell. And also from the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Megan Pode. From the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Connor Robertson. From the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Gerald Smith. From the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Craig Stoger. From the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Amory Willoughby. and from the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Jordan Wally.
All right, I'm going to give just a few minutes if everybody wants to return to seats, and then we'll finish up. In the mornings before graduation, our instructional staff meets with the students, and we close the doors, and we have some parting shots and words of wisdom and advice and aspects of character of the class that we like to share. And at that time, I told them I would withhold most of my comments until later, and we've reached that time. Graduates, words mean everything to us in law enforcement. For example, the difference between may and shall have significant meaning in statutes. Merely changing the word or to an and within a sentence has dramatic impact on the elements of a crime. Specific words such as high morals, solid character, unwavering integrity are often used to describe the requirements of detention officers in both their professional and personal lives. But isn't it ironic that the words that I describe the critical elements of a detention officer are really not taught here at the Academy? We've taught you skills, processes, laws, and procedures. We cannot, however, teach you morality. We cannot teach you integrity. We cannot teach honesty and ethical character. We have certainly done our best to show you their importance and discuss the tragic consequences when they are lacking. But ultimately, the values you possess and that you will use in your job are those that you brought with you to training on the very first day. I encourage you to expend as much effort maintaining your character as you did learning the skills taught here at the Academy. Law enforcement is under constant watchful eye of the public, and rightly so, largely due to the ethical lapses of only a few officers. I think Abigail Van Buren had detention officers in mind when she said, "The best index to a person's character is how they treat people who can't do them any good, and how they treat people who can't fight back." When one officer chooses a path of negative actions or behaviors, that choice often affects all of us. That poor choice may very well tarnish the badge that many have worked so hard to hold true. As a public affirmation of your personal commitment to uphold the high standards required of our law enforcement profession, in a few minutes I will ask that you swear to the law enforcement oath of honor. I also will invite all sworn law enforcement officers in our audience today to voluntarily participate together. You, as Wyoming veteran officers with our state's newest detention officers, to seal a commitment in front of all these witnesses to perform your jobs ethically, honorably, and with integrity. Veteran officers who wish to reaffirm your oath, I would ask you to please stand. Graduates, would you please stand? Everyone raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, nor the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our own actions. I will always uphold the Constitution and the community I serve. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to present to you the graduates of Detention Officer Basic 23C 105. Thank you for coming. This concludes our ceremony. We have refreshments and lunch being served in the cafeteria. We encourage you to stay and partake and visit. Most of the facilities open for you to wander and take a tour. Thank you for coming. Please drive safely going home. Thank you.